GM.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having us, guys. How are you?
Pretty good. This is Churro, by the way, behind the Arbitrum account. happy to host this.
Thank you, Kurapika here, behind the Factor account. Great to be.
Awesome. Yeah, how's it going?
Great, great. Looking forward to share everything that we've been working on. There's a lot to unfold, I think, right in this time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know you guys have been dropping tons of updates lately, so super excited to go over that. Are we waiting for anybody else, or is it just us two for today?
Not from our end, unless it's coming from you guys.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we're good. So, yeah, welcome everybody to our spaces. Really excited to have FactorDAO with us today. Yeah, we'll be talking about how they're reshaping DeFi composability here in the DeFi ecosystem on Arbitrum. So super happy to have you guys here. And yeah, we can get started with some introductions. Do you want to kick off with like talking about the lore of like how everything started with FactorDAO, like the beginnings, and where you guys are at right now?
Yeah, perfect. I mean, I don't think I can really intro Factor otherwise. So first of all, thank you, Choro, again for having us and letting us having this opportunity. So again, so I'm Korapika. I'm the founder of Factor. And as you just mentioned, I think it's very important to know the origins of Factor, or what problem or pain point is it solving. So I've came into the crypto world in 2016 with a background in fintech and finance. And I think everyone in the DeFi, in the crypto realm, got really excited when Uniswap started to evolve, and really the DeFi realm became almost an identical to TradFi or traditional finance, only decentralized, right? With even more extended opportunities that are derived from the open source nativeness of the ecosystem we created. But there is a big problem that I think we inherited from finance, and this is the fragmentation. And it means that there's a lot of different protocols, some of them doing money markets, so borrow and lend. Some of them are DEXs, which allows you to create DLPs and really swap. And the rest of them really go around different strategies that you create on top of these. So strategies in the real world, it's like asset management, right? Someone is an expert and he's coming in and he's building a protocol, or we know it as DeFi vaults, to automate a process, which is essentially an investment strategy or a capital or yield strategy. So what the problem here is that 99% of us, um, we just don't really know finance, right? We're not experts. We can maybe come in and take a borrow on Aave, or we can deposit our ETH in a staking mechanism and get some yield on it. But there's a big question here. First, is it optimized? And B, can I do it better in more protocols? And this is what experts do, right? They come in and they really trade around different yield opportunities and different protocols. And if they really know what they're doing, they come up and they build a protocol for it. Again, yield protocols, yield optimizers, you have a bunch load of this. And with this problem, we started. So now it's time to really basically intro what Factor is. And Factor is connecting all of those DeFi capabilities into one single infrastructure, which allows basically to be the Shopify for DeFi. So it allows anyone which is an expert to come in and create with a drag and drop interface any DeFi strategy that they can conceive, fully automated, from taking flash loans to providing liquidity to harvesting on certain on-chain events. Anything is essentially possible, really a drag and drop interface where you come and create. And us other 99% of the people, we can enjoy from a simple one-click deposit into this permissionless asset management. So basically, by solving that, we allow a very flexible creation, again, a very immediate interface where anyone can create any DeFi strategy in minutes, and the rest of us can just enjoy depositing to it. Again, creating a P2P asset management. And I think that this is really like the exciting part that we're really aiming to unfold. So you mentioned the Lord or the journey. We already have around 150 automations already live in our new UI and D app. And the exciting part, the creation, permissionless creation, is about to unfold by next month, and we're really excited to share it with the Arbitrum community, because it will be native to Arbitrum only at this point.
Yeah, I remember. So I've also been around the space for a while now, since 2017, and I remember interacting with, well, like using Uniswap back in 2020. Before, like, or during the DeFi boom, and yeah, I found it how easy it was to use, and how that led to other DeFi protocols like creating their own version of Uniswap, or even building on top of it, or expanding beyond the applications of Uniswap. But yeah, no, it's crazy how fast like the DeFi ecosystem evolved during that time in 2020, right? When it started out with Compound, with MakerDAO, with Uniswap, with Aave, like the OGs, right? And now you have like over, I don't know how many DeFi protocols we have, but I know in Arbitrum there's a lot, and it's hard to keep track of. But it's crazy how that has evolved so far. And yeah, I think what you guys are building is really awesome, right? it makes it simple for builders and users to do all DeFi things in one place, which is really cool to see because you want to keep things simple. And if you make things simple, that's how you're going to onboard tons of users outside of Web3 into DeFi.
This is a great point, Troy, and I think you've hit it exactly the spot. So again, Factor caters, first of all, for the creators. Let's say, again, someone that really knows what they're doing. We have now DeFi that has evolved. You just mentioned it. If it's money markets, Aave, Compound, on Arbitrum, we have Silo and many others. And it's true to any other primitive. You just have so many options. And options mean different yield, different limitations, different features. And all of this could be seamlessly utilized in our interface in order for you to just go and access any operation. So instead of manually going to Compound to borrow and then maybe deposit it into Pendle and swap it on Uniswap in order to just create what is basically a deposit, like a yield strategy, we allow this completely with full automation with no code required. So again, super excited to really roll it out. We think it's something super innovative around the DeFi realm, and it will really be helpful, especially when these creations can be then monetized. So the creators, a bit like think about the creator economy of YouTube or Shopify. Imagine if you have the knowledge to create strategies. Right now, what you do is you create a DeFi protocol that creates a vault, essentially. This is super costly to do, both from development perspective. It will take you months to build. It will take you audit. It will take you all of the branding and basically creating an entire project for a single strategy. And we see it a lot over DeFi. With Factor, you can create it in minutes with no audit required, and you are able to fully monetize it, earn deposit fees, withdraw fees. You are the owner. And us depositors are enjoying your expertise as the creator.
Yeah, and you guys recently launched a new UI for the app. And I wanted to ask, like, how big and important that milestone is for you at Factor as a team, but also for the community there.
That's a great question. So yeah, just as you mentioned, we just recently launched a whole new UI. So essentially, all the components from the governance to the discovery of these strategies is now a lot more seamless in terms of the experience. It has a lot more color to it, but also minimalism. So it's easy on that, and we really think we've hit the point where we've concluded all of the strategy profile perspective. But now, as I just mentioned over this journey, we are really unfolding the creation side of it. So this new UI is really putting us on this pedestal of quality in terms of the UI and UX, the experience. And now we're about to bring the creation side of it, which is fully aligned, by the way, with this UI. It was created together. And it means that, again, I don't know if you guys have ever played around with Wix or maybe with Zapier, if you're automating some emails. This is the type of experience we just created for DeFi, and we're really about to release it in next month. So while this new UI was a huge milestone for us in terms of usability and experience, I believe the real innovation is really about to unfold when we release what we call Factor Studio.
Cool. Yeah, that's really awesome. And yeah, I was watching the video that you guys dropped with the announcement. And yeah, the new features they're really awesome. And I was gonna ask too, like if you do you want to like cover some of the new features that users can expect when they're on FactorDAO?
100%. So let's start with what we already have outside. So if you now go to app.factor.fi, you can access a variety of fully automated strategies with various automations and integrations from different protocols, whether it's auto compounding your assets to restaking assets or leveraging long or short by taking flash loans on a variety of money markets. It's all now live. Again, as I previously said, 150 strategies that are fully automated. This is, I think, as by itself, it's a great way to access permissionless protocols without the need of the manual labor and the risk management from jumping from one protocol to another. But if we're already talking about these features, these are what we internally call building blocks. So leverage, auto compounding, these are utilizing DeFi actions or functions from the contracts. The Factor Studio, what is now the full implementation of Factor, will allow you to basically do all of these actions. So not just leverage or auto compounding, but again, any imaginable function from DeFi, whether you want to borrow or repay or maybe take profits because the ETH price is going up or down. Any trigger that you want can be now fully with no code be created permissionlessly by you. You don't need to wait for a protocol to do it. You don't need to manually connect your wallet into 5 different protocols and do this all by yourself. It's now seamless. And yeah, I think this is like the major element of it. Of course, we have a lot more in terms of the different incentives. Of course, we also received the LTIPP from the Arbitrum DAO, which is already being distributed in the said strategies of leverage and auto compounding according to our community voting, which is again fully decentralized and up to the community. So feel free to participate, and we'll unfold a lot more incentive campaigns once we unfold Factor Studio by next month.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. And obviously there's like other projects as well that are working on solving these challenges as well. And I want to ask, like, what makes FactorDAO unique compared to others who are also tackling these types of challenges?
No, if you know protocols that are tackling these challenges, I'd love to meet them. No, I'm kidding. There's a few, but most of these, I think what we're relatively getting compared to a lot based on the current implementation, what you see outside in app.factor.fi is yield optimizers. Because again, you have a list of different strategies that they are automated from different protocols, and this is great. But this is, from our perspective, only a demonstration for what is the creation um, platform that I just spoke about can do. And this is just a preview. And I think what makes Factor different is that we really started with saying that Factor is the composability layer of DeFi, and this is important. What we did is that we created a full infrastructure that is connected to right now it's over 25 different protocols, but it has no limit to how many protocols it can aggregate together. And when I say aggregate together, it's not to provide you with a strategy that you can deposit into. It's to allow you to create and interact with all these protocols in one single place. And this is an inherent difference between what Factor is building and, let's say, yield optimizers or strategy vaults, for example.
Yeah, so a question that I have is, so is this similar to what Beefy has done? Because I know they also do yield optimization, but
So that's a great example. So no, the simple question is no. Beefy
okay,
are a great
yeah, I
protocol,
was
by the
curious.
way. I love Beefy, and they are doing great work in this exact same field of yield optimizing. And what Factor came to solve is exactly this pain point, because Beefy, as much as they're a great team, they have a limitation of how many strategies that they can integrate or create. And we wanted to have the same, let's say, end result of having strategies, but we didn't want to create them as Factor. because there are DeFi experts outside, and there are financial engineers that can really, or yield farmers, or however you want to call them, that would be able to create the best, most complex, most automized um, options that we, as a protocol, as Factor, could not foresee. And this is why we tackled it completely the other way around. We didn't create a yield optimizer. We created the infrastructure for you to create any yield optimized strategy. So this is like a major difference because it's a full creation protocol other than depositing into one. And where we meet is the fact that those creations that you can do on Factor, you can monetize them. So again, instead of creating a protocol like Biffy, you can create with Factor Studio any type of complex strategy. And in our main, let's say, Factor Discover, where you explore the strategies, which looks in interface like yield optimizers, such as Biffy, these strategies are fully user created, meaning they are fully completed, automated, and permissionless through the Factor Studio infrastructure, if it makes sense.
Yeah, so pretty much it gives users like more freedom, as well as builders to create their own strategies, their own customized strategies. Is that is that correct?
Shopify for DeFi, man. Exactly.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, that's really cool. Yeah, I like that concept. And I know you mentioned the studio. Um, I don't know. Do you want to talk about it a little bit more, or we can pivot away to a different topic? But I don't know if you wanted to touch more on the studio that's coming up on your end.
Well, I mean, first of all, on our perspective, studio is everything, but there is a lot of facets to it. So, as I just mentioned, first of all, there is the creators, right? They are creating any DeFi strategy, but with our extensions to these features, you can also monetize it. So, again, we're creating this P2P market, but it doesn't stop there because everything that we built again is based on an infrastructure, and this infrastructure is also supporting an SDK, which means not only you can do it no code. Let's say you're a DeFi strategist and you want to now build a very complex yield optimization, but you just don't know code. So here you can now do it in Factor Studio. But all of these interactions that are supported in Factor Studio are also available in a much more extensive SDK, which means if you're a lending protocol, a money market, for example, you can utilize the Factor SDK to integrate leverage into your platform, utilizing your assets, your contracts. Because basically, when we integrate into a protocol, we make it composable completely. It can now be used as literally Lego within any other combination of protocols. And this is a very crucial part in how you can manage a strategy, because manually speaking is just not possible. Like, you can't really sit all day and utilize 5, 6, 7 different protocols and split and harvest them and rebalance the entire portfolio. Is just basically impossible. This is what Factor solves. It allows these tools to be super simple for the creators, and for the depositors, just easy access to it. When it comes to SDK, you can really just build anything. Like another tagline we like to use is create anything DeFi, because it doesn't stop with DeFi strategies. You can de facto build entire protocols with the SDK side, build LRTs, build anything that you can imagine, even beyond just strategies themselves. So this is something that, again, will take some time to unfold, but we're really looking to bring Studio and all of its enhancement out to play, because this really plays out with the, again, it's too early to say mass adoption outside of crypto, because I think crypto still needs some time to improve its UX in general, but really a way to make it a lot more accessible. Imagine just, instead of going into this wild space and finding what to do with your ETH, even for us, the natives, it's getting crazy. So we just need to allow the most simple way to allow complex strategies to be accessible.
Yeah, amen to that. And I think so what I really love about the idea behind Factor DAO in the studio, like you mentioned, right? It not only caters to users, like what most DeFi protocols have, right? But it also caters to builders, to developers, to DeFi experts that are into that stuff, into creating strategies. So it caters to multiple types of audiences, which is what you want as a DeFi protocol, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that way you could tap into different pools or different groups of individuals and people within the DeFi ecosystem, and that's gonna like be a big benefit to FactorDAO in general, like long term, right? So not only you're building for users, but you're also building for the devs, right? And when you have developers, right, they can build really cool and innovative stuff on top of FactorDAO, which is really awesome to see, right? So I'm really excited for you guys.
Thank you, and this was a great point. Just to put it more even on emphasis, we cater to users through builders and creators. Right now, yes, there are some automations that you can come in as a user and deposit, but these will eventually be deprecated. Again, as I previously mentioned, this is almost like a demonstration of the capabilities. But when this studio fully outrolls and all these experts, the creators, the builders, can create those complex automations and offer them in our marketplace, the marketplace is the where the users are coming in to deposit simply. And they just have an array of diversified strategies permissionlessly managed by different creators that are have aligned incentives. They earn when the when the strategy is positively yielding, right? So you all share the same strategy. I, as a creator, can bootstrap my a bit my strategy and really just start collecting deposits. I cannot access them, but I can manage the strategy. If it was profitable, I can then go and collect fees from the depositors, which have no idea in DeFi, but they're now earning a lot more efficient yield on their assets. And I think this is the holy grail, allowing the creators to build very simply so the users will have a diversified array of selection.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really excited for this. And is there anything else that you're excited about? Um, within FactorDAO or even like outside of FactorDAO, like within the Arbitrum DeFi ecosystem or even DeFi in general? Like where do you see the industry going forward?
Yeah, so I think in a more general context, I think this is exactly where DeFi is now consolidating. So you've mentioned before, there's all these different forks and now a lot of different redos of concepts that were tried before in DeFi. But we do see all those different innovations starting from the restaking derivatives, but I'm sure there is more to unfold. There has been what, 4 years now then since DeFi started to boom. We haven't even seen all the different implementations that are possible and what people will come up as primitives. And I think this is also what drives the vision around Factor. It was about saying, well, we would never know all of or be in the forefront of every single creation or primitive. So what we want to achieve is the ability to, once something like that, different innovation comes in DeFi, we can hook it up and now it's supported and people can use it in a simple way. And I think not only Factor, but all of DeFi will go through this phase, whether it will be cross-chain liquidity or any type of messaging that will really allow the experience to be a lot smoother. Because I think that technology-wise, we are way ahead. Like again, not Factor. I'm talking DeFi and I think crypto in general. There's a lot more to solve, but the experience itself is one of the biggest hurdles that until we provide good solutions to, we won't see anything behind some besides some nerds playing around with wallets. And I think we're on our way. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, yeah. I think this year so far we've seen definitely tons of improvements on the UI UX front. For example, we have like Uniswap like leaning more towards mobile friendly with their app, right? The Uniswap wallet app. Also, a few other DeFi protocols on Arbitrum are also building like mobile friendly apps as well to support their protocol, as well as with like one click transaction, and also adding the ability to sign in with an email or another way, right? So I think this is the way. This is like I think this is the right direction that the DeFi ecosystem is moving in. And yeah, I'm extremely bullish on what's coming.
Yeah, this was a great point, and I think this is exactly the type of things. Anything from on ramping and simplicity will put improvement. And once we get seamless with the experience, let's say Web2 is now offering, there won't be much of a difference for a user to jump from his bank app to a DeFi app. Again, assuming a, it's working, and B, the yield is good. And we know how to make yield, right, in DeFi. But the problem is the experience for someone who is just, I don't know, your neighbor, it's just not possible at the moment to even start explaining how to get exposure to such thing. And I think this will be the challenge. And yeah, I think we have a lot of talented people that are trying to solve it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's a hill up, like since NFTs has popped off. Because like if you mention like NFTs to someone outside of crypto, they'll be like, "Yeah, I don't know about that." I don't know. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what's coming with the DeFi ecosystem. But yeah, do you want to talk about where can people learn more about FactorDAO or even getting involved with the community?
Of course, of course. Thank you. So, first of all, as I previously mentioned, our website is factor.fi. You can come in, join Discord. We have very extensive docs where you can read all about everything I just mentioned, including things that are now upcoming. And to relate to the contribution part, we actually have a contributors program for anyone who wants to participate. Well, we're a DAO at the end of the day. So we want to really come in and pull in people to participate and take part, whether it's with strategy creation to anything that regards to the modeling of different aspects from incentivization to the adapters and all the different automations and templates that will arise with the creation of Factor Studio. Again, we have a very intensive, let's say, tokenomics, which all revolves around basically revenue share and contribution. So there's a lot to participate. I won't now elaborate on our entire tokenomics, but you can definitely come in and read more about it and just take part. We're really looking forward for anyone who has interest in DeFi and would love to solve hard problems.
Cool. Well, appreciate you, Kurapika, for joining us today. And thank you to the community as well for tuning in. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to check FactorDAO and jump in to their community to get involved. But yeah, thank you so much. Hope everybody here has a great day, good night, wherever you are across the world, and see you guys soon.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week. Ciao, ciao.